We're at Aldershot Regional with Tom Watabiki. Went EXO. What played? You playing Nekroz yet?
Yeah.
Okay, take it away.
So we're playing Nekroz, so we play 3 Manjus and 3 Senjus. Some people play 2 of this, but I think that's just like really silly. Like, you need to open with this and you have to maximize it. Like, it sucks when you open multiple of either of these, but like you have to go through that just so that you actually can get the best chance of opening them. 2 Shurit because I don't like more than 2 because otherwise it gets kind of cloggy. 2 Psi Blocker. This is like actually the best card on the deck. Like, it's actually crazy. Like, there was a discussion on Duelist Grounds. I'll just make it. I'll just shorten it, but basically it makes it so you can easily OTK through a Valkyrus. On top of this, it gets rid of floodgates because you just call any floodgate, and it just completely makes it a blank card for the entire until your opponent's next turn. And then on top of that, like if you play Clifford or something, you can do it on like Scout or something, or just anything that's relevant, and then you can just overlay with a Unicore or whatever, and like it's just because it's lingering effects, it means that it carries on, so it just creates an amazing utility in the level 4 regardless. So you play 3 Maxx because I'm not playing against the decks that like have floodgates, because that's a terrible idea, because regardless of me having MST in the deck, I could just not draw them and I could just still get stomped by them. So I think it's the better idea to just main Maxx and just focus for the mirror match, because that's one of the important matchups that you're going to need every game for, like for Burning Abyss previously. 1 Effect Veiler, this card sucked and I would cut it for a 3rd Book of Eclipse. 3 Valkyrus, because if you're playing less than 3, then like it's really bad, because it's not only a Scarecrow, but it's the main card for the mirror match, and if you use any less of this, like it could easily just like, sometimes it gets banished, and like you're making it easier for people to OTK you and trish you basically. 3 Brionac because it searches everything, 3 Unicore because it recycles everything. Clausolas because 1 Clausolas, I don't like multiple because all of the ritual spells search each other afterwards. 1 Trish because this card is redonkulous, and this card it's a brick, and it's under the same theory that Gungan is terrible, but like there's OTKs that this creates that with Psi Blocker, because like you can for instance have this, and a Psi Blocker. So you call Valkyrus with this, you summon this guy, you pump this so that it's on 3/3, you cycle this back, and that's game. So now I'll go to spells. Dark Hole, this is just to clear boards, and it's an out to emptiness, I guess. Rota, because I don't want to play any more Clausolas, and I don't want to play any more Shrits, but it just thins the deck at the same time. 3 Prep. 2 Book of Eclipse to out Jin without them being able to respond to it. Book of Moon because this goes through Valkyrus and it's a really good card. And then 2 of each of the rituals. Another thing that's like should be pointed out with is a lot of people I don't think are playing the mirror right in with Psi Blocker, because a lot of people are worrying about not being able to attack with Valkyrus. But one of the main things that like people don't seem to understand yet is that you can like, I know you can do this with Unicore and Valkyrus, and it does a lot of damage and it forces their Valkyrus. But if you actually just, because you're playing Psi Blocker, you can get past the Valkyrus anyway. So 1400 pokes are actually ridiculously relevant, because you can do this, you can then do it with the Unicore and the Valkyrus. And then afterwards, so you do the 1400 poke, then you summon these 2, you make a Lavarvel chain, and then you can stack this to the top, and then draw this with another card, and then next turn you're pretty much going to OTK them because they can't stop the Psi Blocker. Now going on to the... going to the extra deck...
Why did you play Dark Hole over Raigeki?
Because you're getting rid of some of your boards sometimes. No, but like, it's obvious. I'm not gonna... Rhapsody, Cowboy, Dweller, Emerald, Lavarvel Chain, Exoton, Diamond Dyer, Castel, Ragnar Zero, Giant Hand. I think this is actually like really good because it helps improve your rogue matchups, which is really good. Another thing that will be relevant is 101, because in the mirror match you can do 101 and then flip up emptiness, and it's your opponent's so far behind and it's really hard for them to out. So when they manage to, if they even manage to out it, you're usually so far ahead of your opponent that they can't do anything. So then it's 2 Heralds, Arachnid, a Shooting Quasar, and a Barbaroid. These 2 are like along with this, like I could just use any, but the reason why I use these is because although I don't use Phantom of Chaos, you literally lose nothing from doing this, and it can then provoke reactions, and people may think that you're playing Phantom of Chaos, so they may play differently. So you're not losing anything, but you potentially may gain something. So that's why I did that. So now for the side deck. I sided 2 Gores. Now this is actually just like it's really good in the mirror, and it's really good against decks that do floodgates, because a lot of the time they're not going to expect Gores, especially the floodgate decks. So you can summon this, and it's just going to blow them out. And then on top of that, when you do it against the mirror match, a lot of the time they're not going to be able to Trishula you, because they're going to already be having to use their Valkyrus to clear their board, and then even if they do manage to Trish you, like a lot of the time they can only get rid of 1, and then most of the time you'll just be able to Trishula them back anyway. So 2 Denko and a DD Warrior Lady. I wouldn't side DD Warrior Lady again. I understand the theory of it, but I just think it's very underwhelming, and if I could go back I would side just the 3rd Denko Sekka instead. 3 MST, because although I really dislike this card, and it simplifies the game state. You have to play it for the floodgate cards, and it's just to make it so that when you go into games 2 and 3, you can just get through the back row and still win the game. The same thing with Twister. Raigeki and Dark Holes. I didn't side this for like the mirror or anything. It was more just for decks that like just are fair and don't replace themselves, and it just blows out. And then 3 Emptiness, which is mainly for the mirror match. It's the whole thing about the 101. I probably should have found space for 101. I may actually, one thing I might do is I may side 101 instead of DD Warrior Lady. Because like, I really, like, 101's not going to be relevant until like you side in Emptiness. So that may be something I do. But yeah, this card's just a blowout, because a lot of the time, especially if they're like Manju or Senju beforehand, like they can't get rid of their Manju or Senju, and this just locks them out, so that when you can get rid of it on your next turn, you can Trish them and just blow them out. So yeah, thank you for the deck profile.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tom.